ladies and gents, it's happening. We got tons of new players that are going to be joining the Helldivers 2 community. And if you're one of those players, you probably have tons of questions. Should I be buying Helldivers 2? Is the game worth it? What about the early game, mid-game, endgame, gunplay, combat, monetization? After watching this video, I'm gonna be answering all of those questions. I have over 4,000 hours in this game, and yes, you're right to assume that I haven't been outside for a very long time. I play on max difficulty. I create a lot of fun builds, effective builds. All of those, by the way, are gonna be on the channel, so if you're interested, make sure to take a look at those. We also cover other games. We're gonna be playing Ark Raiders as well when it comes out, by the way. I can't wait for that game. So let's start with monetization, because I do think that Helldivers 2 monetization is one of the best on the market. You pick up the game, and then you might be thinking, but Pip, there's so many warbonds, and for all the people that don't know, warbonds are essentially battle passes in Helldivers 2. How do I unlock? Do I have to pay money for all of these warbonds? Because there's a bunch of them at the moment. There's more than 10, so you might be thinking to yourself, that's a little bit too much, right? Well, the answer is you don't have to. As soon as you understand the basics of the game, even on the easiest difficulties of Helldivers 2, you are going to be able to farm super credits, which is the currency to buy the war bonds. Now, what this means is if you've ever played Destiny 2, imagine Bungie giving you the ability to farm unlimited silver as much as you wanted for as long as you wanted, and then spend it on whatever you wanted. Yes, that's what's happening in Helldivers 2. And the devs have stated that they want this to be a thing in the game. So if you want to farm those super credits and not spend a single dollar on these war bonds, well, guess what? That's completely up to you. That's why I think that this game, when it comes to monetization, really does an impressive job, right? You can't go wrong there because, once again, if you don't want to spend money, all you got to do is spend more time. By the way, as I mentioned, on the easiest difficulties, you just, chat with a friend while doing it or have a podcast on while doing it. That's going to be up to you. I have some people in the community that have stacked over 20, 30, 40,000 super credits while they already have all war bonds unlocked, right? So yeah, they're essentially set for life when it comes to that. And by the way, the super credits that you farm, you can also spend on other things. It's not just for the war bonds, right? Like, let me show you here. If you go to the store, you will see that in the superstore, there's armor pieces that you can pick up, there's banners, and so on, like helmet skins, whatever. Like, you can spend it the way you want. And as you guys can see, there's a bunch of war bonds, and I will be making separate video guides for war bonds so you guys know which war bonds are the best, which ones you should be unlocking first. So stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about the early game experience and mid game experience, and then we're gonna talk about the end game separately because end game has changed, and I'll explain what I mean in a minute here. So once you're a new player, one of the coolest things about Helldivers 2 is the ease of entry. So for example, once again, I'm gonna bring the example of Destiny 2. Once you hop into Destiny 2, when people ask me, Pip, should I be playing D2? I'll go, yeah, dude, it's an awesome game. For a new player, get into it, but make sure to watch tons of video guides to even understand what the hell is going on at the beginning, because it can be very confusing. In Helldivers 2, that is not the case. You get to the ship and you know right away that you have to complete the first difficulty. You complete that, you move on to the second difficulty, and essentially that's what guides you through the game, and it is very straightforward and very easy to get into. When it comes to the unlocks and the progression, it's also very simple. At first, you're gonna need the requisition currency. Essentially, it is like money you're gonna spend on the weapons or the red stratagems that you want to unlock. So you'll spend it on this one, you unlock that, and you move on, you get more, you unlock the next one, and so on. Now, I am also going to be uploading an in-depth guide on which stratagems to focus on first as a new player. So yeah, that's gonna help a lot of you guys out. Stay tuned for that. When it comes to the second currency, it's gonna be the samples, the ones that you see right above my camera, the green, yellow, and purple one. Those you get after you finish the missions. You need to extract these samples and you use them to unlock upgrades for the said weapons and red stratagems, right? So there is a lot of stuff you're going to be farming early and mid game as well. And then you have medals. Medals you also get at the end of games. However, medals are used to unlock the items in the war bonds, which is essentially the battle passes that we talked about. So for example, if you purchase Polar Patriots war bond, then you're gonna need medals to unlock the weapons that are in the war bond. So yes, early and mid game, you're going to have tons to chase. There's going to be just tons to unlock, and it's going to be tons of fun as well. Now, when it comes to end game, that's where things changed a lot from the time when the game launched. When we started the game, essentially, there was not as much content. And what I mean by that is once we would get to level 25, and after that unlock the ship modules, that was pretty much it. Then we were just running around to kill aliens because we didn't have so many warbonds, right? All of you guys are going to have tons of more content to farm as a new player compared to what we had to do when we started the game. Now, that is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, you're going to have a lot to farm and grind for, and that's the beauty of it. The cool thing is, though, you don't have to rush it, because the way Arrowhead does endgame is the warbonds that pop up, they're there forever. They're not disappearing. So you don't have to be like, oh my god, I need to rush this, it will be gone in a month. No, you can just play at your pace. You unlock it whenever you want to unlock it, whenever you can unlock it, whenever you have time to unlock it, right? So that's what makes it absolutely perfect for new players. Now, that said, one thing you do need to know is, let's say you spend hundreds of hours, you unlock all of these things. What happens then, Pip? Is there any RPG type progression? Is there any prestige system? Is there any hidden skins? Is there any unlocks like that? The answer to that is no. There's nothing like that. Once you get all of these items, you are good to go. You are not going to be farming boss kills for drops. You're not going to be getting any drops, for that matters, from any enemies. This game does not have anything like that when it comes to progression. The only thing is you're getting materials around the map, then you're extracting with those materials, and if you do successfully extract, you are going to use those materials to unlock the items that are ship modules and, the stratagems with some of the other currencies. That is about it. Now, there is one more progression system, however, which is weapon customization, which once again, we did not have when this game started. For example, if you take a look at this weapon, this is level 25. Now, the way you level up weapons is that you just have to equip it and play through the mission. Once the mission ends, you're going to get XP for this weapon and it will level up. Now, why do you do this, right? Well, you're going to be able to unlock new scopes, lasers, magazines, and so on. However, don't assume that this is a very deep customization, because it's not. It's not like weapon customization in some other games where, for example, you can change the ammo type or increase the damage or do this or do some like deep customization, right? A lot of it is just quality of life increases, such as less recoil, maybe a better scope and bigger magazines. But that's about it. It doesn't really go crazier or deeper than that. But that's still another layer of progression, especially for new players. And remember, you first got to unlock these weapons in the first place from the warbonds. Now let's talk about build crafting. Does this game have deep build crafting, such as games like Warframe, First Descendant, or Destiny 2, Division? The answer to that is no. You can combine some items, obviously, to have better results, and we have tons of builds on the channel that are really fun and very, very effective, and in many cases make gameplay on max difficulty much easier no matter which faction you're fighting against. But when it comes to like deeper build crafting, that's not in this game. You're not going to get that Remnant. You're not going to get that Destiny or the First Descendant min-maxing stats or whatever. That's not this game. It's simply not here. So do keep that in mind. Which then brings us to power fantasy. And this is a very hot topic in the community. Very, very hot topic, right? In my opinion, early to mid-game, the power fantasy starts growing pretty rapidly because, you're getting all of these new tools and you're having tons of fun. However, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that as you're unlocking these tools, you're also unlocking higher difficulty. And when you do hit that max difficulty, the power fantasy does slow down. It's not as crazy as you would think. And if you're expecting something like insanely powerful tools that will make you feel like a space marine and so on, that is not going to be the case. Once again, this is a very hot topic in the community. A big part of the community wants to have that power fantasy, and it seems like the vision of the devs is that you are a very easily replaceable soldier that is supposed to be dying over and over and over again. So yeah, we don't really get those crazy powerful items where you can just run around and annihilate bugs, right? at the moment at least. Hopefully that will change in the future, but yeah, you're not gonna have that once again. Space Marine power fantasy at the end game, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's talk about the co-op experience. Once you're playing this game with friends, guys, it is extremely fun. Probably one of the more fun games on the market at the moment. You're gonna create awesome memories no matter which enemies you're fighting against. It just can be an awesome time. That said, it does come with its issues. Like, since the release of this game, I've been having disconnects when I team up with friends. I would say 30-40% of the time we're gonna get into a mission, and let's say 3-4 missions out of 10, dude, people get disconnected. Sometimes 15 minutes into the mission, sometimes 35 minutes into the mission, when we're about to extract, and now they can't join back, which means they're not gonna get any of the samples, any of the XP. And even though, yes, we did have fun, they kind of wasted their time when it comes to progression. And that is still a thing. When it comes to performance of the game does have issues. A lot of people are having FPS drops. They're disconnecting. Some of them, like, the game just straight up crashes. There are these cases. There are. Now, I play on console most of the time, even though I do have the game on PC as well. But I still get disconnects as well. Just to give you guys an example, there was a bug in the game where if you would customize your weapon, your game would completely crash. And this went on for a very long time, for around like 2 months, maybe even more than that. So yeah, that is information that I have to put out there, okay? It really is. And keep in mind, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. This is just my honest thoughts about the game after 4,000 hours of playing it. When it comes to the solo experience, this is probably not going to be a super popular opinion, but I absolutely love the solo experience in this game because it ups the challenge. It's just so much more intense, and there's so much more on the line. And if you're that player that likes to challenge yourself, solo gameplay is something that you're gonna enjoy a lot. And this brings us to the difficulty of the game. Pip, is the game super difficult? Will I ever be able to complete solo max difficulty or max difficulty with friends in general? The answer to that, guys, is yes. The game is, in my opinion, one of the more easiest games in the industry right now when it comes to the genre. You're not going to have a hard time once you unlock some tools and you learn the enemy strategies and tactics. Yeah, it's just not bad at all, right? You have 20 lives as a team. Like, come on, like, you're not dying 20 times. Like, if you're really trying to finish the mission, I'm going to go out and say that it's probably harder to fail than to complete. Like, if you're trying, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of difficulty when it comes to the max difficulty of Helldivers 2. Let's talk about the gunplay and the combat flow next. Now, the first thing I want to go over here is the overall gameplay loop, right? Like, because that's a big part of combat, right? Like, how does it feel when you're fighting these bugs or robots or Luminant? Like, is it fun? Can it get crazy? Is it cinematic? And answer to all of those things, guys, is absolutely, right? The game can be extremely cinematic, and you're going to be creating some of the most fun and enjoyable moments with your friends. Like that, I can easily promise you. No matter which faction you're going against, the first time you're gonna get attacked by crazy amounts of Bile Titans or Chargers or like the Factory Striders on the bot side. Like, it becomes absolute peak cinema, right? And a lot of games do lack that today. And trust me, Helldivers does not. So when it comes to like sitting down, playing with your friends, and once you turn off the game, you're like, holy, that was awesome. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of moments like that from this game. That feeling when you have hundreds of enemies just going nuts and you're able to survive that and get so many kills and like save your teammates and fight shoulder to shoulder, yeah, that's on a different level. It really is. However, when it comes to like the mechanical side of combat, not everything is perfect. So let's talk about that as well. The studio, a lot of the times, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but they do say that they have this Tarkov-like milsim game on their hands, which personally, I don't understand how by any stretch of the imagination this game is Tarkov-like or milsim, but you know, that's what they have brought up many times in interviews. They are trying to give the game that kind of feel, which ends up in the fact that a lot of the weapons for Helldivers 2 and the way they function, they are a little bit sluggish. The reloads and everything, they can feel a little bit on the slower side. And if you're looking for that snappy gunplay that you have in Destiny 2 or other games, you're not going to be getting that. Don't get me wrong, the gunplay doesn't feel horrible. It feels pretty good, but if you're looking for that quality of gunplay, that's not Helldivers 2, right? That's just out of the gate. I want you guys to know that. But there's also the enemy side. And even though it is extremely fun to slay out when it comes to the enemies, there's definitely some frustrating moments there. So for example, you can get one shot a lot of the times from off-screen attacks without any sound cues or visual cues. You clear everything, you think, you know what, I'm good. Boom, you blow up, and something 500 meters away just shot you and one-shotted you without any sound or visual cues. They also do have a ragdoll mechanic, which is essentially an ability for the enemy factions to CC you for a pretty long periods of time. 3-5 seconds, depending. If they go crazy, it can probably be longer. And ragdolling is pretty frustrating. At first, it might be like, yeah, that's pretty funny. But then when you keep playing the game over and over, the ragdolling can be very, very annoying. Now, the devs have said that they're toning it down little by little. And trust me when I tell you, it does feel way better in many cases compared to what it used to be, because they adjusted the weapon attacks of the enemies and whatnot. And it does happen a little bit less, but in my opinion, it still happens way too much, especially on the automaton side, right? Yeah, I think we've covered everything here. And overall, the way I look at video games nowadays is this: how much am I paying and how many hours I'm gonna get out from it, right? Like, that's the logical way to think about it. And let's say I've paid like $100 for this game in total. Well, I've gotten over 4,000 hours out of this game. That should really answer the question if you are getting your money's worth from this game or not. I do believe you're gonna have tons of fun, a lot of items to chase, a lot of leveling, XP farming, all that kind of stuff. So yes, it is gonna be worth your money. There's no doubt about it. I just wanted you guys to know everything the way it is: the good, the bad, the ugly. And I wanted to give you guys my honest thoughts about the game. Once again, I'm gonna be uploading tons of content for new players, returning players, and for old players as well. And we are going to be covering games like Arc Raiders on the channel very, very soon, essentially as soon as the game is out. We're also going to be streaming Helldivers 2, Arc Raiders, all the good stuff. And once again, I would absolutely love to see you guys live on stream. If you guys did enjoy this video, and only if you did, slap the like button, sub to the channel. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.